we have a solution for the BMW M3 which I bought, which I didn't think was stolen, and turned out to be stolen.
For many, the name Mat Armstrong evokes images of luxury cars, YouTube fame, and incredible stories of risk and reward. But behind the glossy videos and impressive car builds lies a story that few believe could be true. Mat Armstrong's journey from washing dishes and delivering food to running one of the most successful automotive YouTube channels is nothing short of extraordinary. Rumors about his early life, his work ethic, and the audacity of his investments circulated for years. But for the first time, his father confirmed everything. This is not just a story about wealth and success. It is a story about resilience, sacrifice, and determination. Every detail, from the 76-hour work weeks to the risky Bentley Continental GT purchase, has been confirmed. It is a tale of ordinary people achieving extraordinary feats, not by luck alone, but through relentless perseverance, careful planning, and unwavering belief in their dreams. The story begins in Leicester, a city not typically known for producing YouTube car stars or extreme success stories. Mat Armstrong, a young man with a professional BMX career, was working 7 days a week in an Indian restaurant just to survive. While he trained for competitions, his income barely covered daily expenses, and his sponsors only helped with competition fees and basic equipment. Most people assumed he had financial support from family or hidden investors, but that wasn't the case. From 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., he worked at Graham Goods Industrial Supplies, then immediately traveled to his restaurant job, working until 10:30 p.m., serving food, delivering orders, and washing dishes. On weekends, the hours were just as punishing. By the end of the week, Mat had worked over 76 hours, not counting commuting time, leaving only 5 hours of sleep on some nights. Despite this, he continued training for BMX competitions, sometimes practicing in the restaurant parking lot under streetlights until 1 a.m. The physical and mental toll of such a schedule is unimaginable, but Mat persisted, driven by passion and ambition. This grueling routine demonstrates a work ethic few can comprehend, but laid the foundation for his future success. His father watched him struggle, often questioning the choices he made. Yet he never interfered because he recognized his son's determination. During this period of intense work and minimal rest, Mat also managed to save enough money to invest in property. Starting with very modest savings, he purchased his first rental property with a £12,000 down payment using government-backed Help to Buy schemes. The rental income from this property funded the deposit for a second property, and within 3 years, he had amassed a small but valuable property portfolio worth over £400,000. His father confirms the accuracy of these numbers, emphasizing that every investment was deliberate, calculated, and rooted in hard work. While many would assume that such financial success requires inherited wealth or hidden backers, Mat's achievements were the result of careful planning and sacrifice. He minimized personal expenses, living with his parents, eating staff meals at the restaurant, and spending virtually nothing on entertainment. The arithmetic of his early years is brutal but precise. £21,000 annual take-home pay, minus £3,000 annual living costs, leaving £18,000 saved each year. 3 years of disciplined savings and strategic investments provided the foundation for bigger risks and greater rewards, showing that ordinary people can create extraordinary results through discipline and perseverance. The next defining moment came with a car accident involving Hannah's Audi TT. The insurance company deemed it a total loss, but Mat saw an opportunity. He purchased a damaged car for £3,000, leaving £8,000 cash for potential repairs. Friends and family thought he had lost his mind. Why would someone invest in a destroyed car during a global pandemic? Yet Mat's foresight and mechanical skill gave him confidence. He had been self-teaching mechanics during lunch breaks and after shifts, watching YouTube videos on his phone, while learning the intricacies of car repair. He didn't just want to fix the car. He filmed the process, edited it using free software, and uploaded videos late at night. The content, raw and unfiltered, began to attract attention. Initially, he had only 7 subscribers, Hannah, his parents, and a few friends. But within 6 months, his channel grew to 10,000 subscribers. This small success demonstrated not only his skill with cars, but also his natural ability to connect with viewers and provide engaging content. It also set the stage for the major risks and rewards that would define the next chapter of his career. The global lockdown in March 2020 created both a crisis and an opportunity for Mat. With restaurants closed and his regular jobs furloughed, he had £18,000 saved for a dream home. Instead of panic, he made a bold decision. He risked almost the entire deposit on a crashed Bentley Continental GT listed on Copart for £17,500. The car had front-end damage, potential frame issues, and no guarantee of running. Family and friends were skeptical, but Matt understood the opportunity. He used the downtime to dedicate himself fully to car builds, working 18-hour days in his parents' garage. Every step, from repair to filming, was documented for YouTube. Within months, his audience grew rapidly, gaining 50,000 new subscribers in the first month and hundreds of thousands in the following months. He transformed the Bentley, added upgrades, and ultimately sold it for £45,000, turning a £25,500 investment into a profit and solidifying his reputation as a skilled mechanic and savvy entrepreneur. His father confirms these events, highlighting both the risks and the meticulous planning behind every decision. This story captures the essence of success. It is rarely spontaneous. It is calculated, hard-earned, and often misunderstood by outsiders. As Mat Armstrong's YouTube channel grew, so did his business. He reinvested profits into additional car projects, including an Aston Martin Vantage and a Mercedes C63 AMG, both purchased damaged, rebuilt, and sold for profit. By late 2020, his channel had over 500,000 subscribers, generating significant ad revenue. Brand partnerships began to appear, with companies like Squarespace offering substantial payments for sponsored content. The success of his channel enabled him to hire his father as workshop manager and Hannah as operations manager, turning a solo operation into a small but efficient team. By 2021, he had purchased a crashed Lamborghini Murcielago for £95,000, less than 2 years after risking his house deposit. This bold investment and meticulous rebuild became his most-watched video series, regularly surpassing 5 million views per episode. The rapid growth and recognition of his channel, including outreach from public figures like Richard Hammond, underscored his transition from a passionate hobbyist to a professional entrepreneur, blending creativity, risk-taking, and disciplined work ethic. Alongside the professional success, Matt's journey came with significant personal challenges. His father describes the emotional toll, from missed birthdays to strained relationships and the anxiety caused by financial uncertainty and overwork. The 76-hour workweeks, the intense training, the late-night filming sessions, all demanded sacrifices most people would find unbearable. Imposter syndrome and self-doubt were constant companions, highlighting that success comes with a cost. Even with over 1 million subscribers and substantial income, he faced decisions that required balancing ambition, health, and personal relationships. This transparency makes his story relatable and instructive. Success is not a magical shortcut to happiness. It requires trade-offs, careful planning, and resilience. By openly discussing these challenges, Matt and his father provide an honest perspective that inspires without glossing over the realities of intense personal investment. By 2023, Mat Armstrong had achieved financial security, bought his dream home with cash, a 5-bedroom house with a 6-car garage, and built a sustainable business model. However, he chose to scale back content production, focusing on higher quality videos over quantity, demonstrating maturity and a long-term vision. His father confirms that every rumor about his early struggles, risks, and achievements is accurate. The story of a young man going from minimum wage to millionaire by his late 20s, while working grueling hours and taking enormous risks, is not only true, but also filled with valuable lessons for others. It illustrates the importance of timing, calculated risk-taking, relentless discipline, and the human cost of success. It also emphasizes that ordinary people, when driven by passion and strategy, can achieve extraordinary things without relying on inherited wealth or shortcuts. The story of Mat Armstrong is ultimately a story of perseverance, risk, and the pursuit of passion. It shows how strategic planning, hard work, and unyielding dedication can transform a seemingly ordinary life into an extraordinary one. From BMX parking lot practice sessions to rebuilding luxury cars, each step of Matt's journey demonstrates resilience and ingenuity. His father's confirmation serves as a final piece of proof, validating every rumor and highlighting the sacrifices behind the headlines. Today, Mat Armstrong continues to inspire millions through his channel, his business, and his willingness to share both successes and struggles. His journey reminds us that real success is hard, sometimes lonely, but ultimately achievable with vision, perseverance, and courage. This is a story of truth, triumph, and the human spirit, showing that ordinary people can reach extraordinary heights when they refuse to give up. For many people, the idea that someone could go from washing dishes in a restaurant to running a multi-million-pound automotive business in a few years seems impossible. Yet, for Mat Armstrong, this was reality. Born and raised in Leicester, Mat's early life did not hint at the fame, wealth, or influence he would eventually achieve. As a professional BMX rider, he devoted himself to his sport, spending hours training, traveling to competitions, and constantly improving his skills. However, BMX, like many sports, did not provide a stable income. Sponsorships covered competition fees and basic equipment, but not the cost of living. To make ends meet, Mat worked 7 days a week in an Indian restaurant, delivering food, washing dishes, and serving customers long into the night. The physical toll was enormous, but the mental discipline required to balance training, work, and sleep deprivation would later define his relentless work ethic. Mat Armstrong's schedule was punishing. During the week, he worked at Graham Goods Industrial Supplies from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., performing manual labor and clerical duties. Immediately afterward, he drove to the restaurant, working until 10:30 p.m. in a fast-paced, high-pressure environment. By the time he got home, he had little time to rest before starting again the next morning. On weekends, his work did not stop. He maintained the same restaurant schedule, sometimes practicing BMX late at night in the parking lot under a single streetlight. His father watched this routine with both pride and concern, often questioning why his son placed so much strain on himself. Yet Mat persisted, driven by an unwavering belief that hard work, sacrifice, and smart decision-making could change his life. This period of his life, marked by exhaustion and relentless effort, laid the foundation for his future success and demonstrated an extraordinary level of discipline rarely seen in someone so young. Despite working over 76 hours a week, Mat Armstrong demonstrated remarkable financial acumen. Living with his parents, he minimized expenses to the absolute minimum, eating staff meals at the restaurant, bringing packed lunches, and spending virtually nothing on entertainment. Every pound he earned was carefully considered, and he began saving for future investments. After 3 years of disciplined saving, Mat had accumulated 54,000 pounds, a remarkable feat given his minimal income and punishing schedule. But saving was only part of the equation. He was also learning to invest strategically. Using help-to-buy schemes and careful property research, he purchased his first rental property with a 12,000-pound deposit. The income from this property funded his second investment, and by the third year, he owned a small but valuable portfolio worth over 400,000 pounds. These calculated steps not only demonstrated his intelligence and strategic thinking, but also highlighted his long-term vision. Every action, every saved pound, and every sacrifice was a step toward independence and financial security. His father confirms every detail of these financial moves. Many people assume that someone like Mat must have had hidden investors or inherited wealth, but the truth is far more inspiring. His accomplishments were purely the result of careful planning, discipline, and sacrifice. For 3 years, he essentially lived without a social life, spending every moment either working, training, or learning new skills. Professional athletes usually train 30 to 40 hours per week, but Mat could only manage about 10 hours in between his jobs. Yet, he remained competitive internationally in BMX. The arithmetic of his early life was brutal, yet precise. 21,000 pounds take-home pay per year minus 3,000 pounds in living expenses equals 18,000 pounds saved annually. Multiply that over 3 years, and he had a solid financial base to take greater risks later. This story demonstrates that success rarely comes from luck alone. It comes from deliberate planning, sacrifice, and unwavering belief in one's own abilities. One of the pivotal moments in Mat Armstrong's journey was the acquisition of Hannah's damaged Audi TT. When the car was deemed a total loss by the insurance company, most people would have walked away. Mat, however, saw potential. He purchased the car for 3,000 pounds, leaving 8,000 pound cash for repairs. His friends, family, and even his own parents thought he was insane. Yet Mat's decision was grounded in his growing expertise. For years, he had been self-teaching mechanics during breaks at work, watching YouTube tutorials, and practicing repairs in improvised spaces. He didn't just want to fix the car. He wanted to document the process, learning the art of storytelling while demonstrating his mechanical skills. Filming late at night, editing with free software, and uploading videos using the restaurant Wi-Fi, Mat created content that was raw, unfiltered, and engaging. Initially, he had only 7 subscribers, but within 6 months, that number had grown to 10,000. This early success revealed 2 crucial things. Mat was not only skilled mechanically, but also possessed a natural talent for creating content that resonated with audiences. It was a turning point, proving that with hard work, strategic risk, and creativity, ordinary tools and modest resources could yield extraordinary results. During this period, the COVID-19 lockdown in March 2020 accelerated his journey. With his jobs furloughed and the restaurant closed indefinitely, Mat had the rare opportunity to focus entirely on his passion. Rather than panicking, he decided to risk nearly all of his £18,000 savings on a crashed Bentley Continental GT listed for £17,500 on Copart. The car had front-end damage, possible frame issues, and no guarantee it would run. Family and friends were skeptical, fearing financial disaster. But Mat understood the situation. The lockdown meant millions of people were home hungry for entertainment. He had the skill to rebuild the car, and he had learned the value of persistence, discipline, and risk management. This calculated gamble was not reckless. It was a strategic decision informed by his prior experience with property investment and car repairs. Over the following months, he documented the rebuild in minute detail, creating daily content that showcased every struggle, breakthrough, and lesson learned. Within weeks, the channel exploded, gaining 50,000 new subscribers in the first month alone. The Bentley rebuild was a masterclass in calculated risk and hard work. Mat invested £17,500 in the car and an additional £8,000 in parts, totaling £25,500. He documented every step of the process, from repairing the sump and damaged body panels to installing performance upgrades. The videos were both educational and entertaining, capturing the audience's attention. Within 48 hours of listing the rebuilt car for sale, he received multiple offers exceeding £40,000. The winning bid was £45,000, giving him a profit of nearly £20,000 in just 4 months. Beyond the financial success, the project validated his skills, increased his reputation, and attracted new subscribers. By late 2020, Mat had 500,000 subscribers and a growing income stream from ad revenue, brand partnerships, and car sales. Companies like Squarespace offered significant sponsorship deals, and his expertise began to attract recognition from automotive enthusiasts worldwide. His father recalls the pride and relief he felt, seeing his son not only succeed but do so independently, relying solely on his talent, discipline, and judgment. With the profit from the Bentley, Mat immediately reinvested into 2 more damaged cars, an Aston Martin Vantage and a Mercedes C63 AMG. Both vehicles were rebuilt and sold for substantial profits, further growing his business and channel. By October 2020, his YouTube income had reached £10,000 per month, with over 500,000 subscribers. Beyond the numbers, the story was inspiring. An ordinary young man, working grueling hours and making personal sacrifices, had achieved financial independence through passion, strategy, and hard work. His father joined the business as workshop manager, and Hannah became full-time operations manager. What started as a solo venture evolved into a structured team, capable of handling increasingly complex projects and larger audiences. This transformation highlights the evolution from a personal passion into a professional enterprise, a journey rooted in persistence, strategy, and resilience that by 2021, Mat Armstrong had firmly established himself as a rising star in the automotive world, not just on YouTube but in the broader car enthusiast community. With his experience in rebuilding vehicles, growing audience, and profitable ventures behind him, he made the bold decision to invest in a crashed Lamborghini Murcielago for £95,000. This was nearly 2 years after risking his entire house deposit on the Bentley. Yet Mat approached it with the same calculated mindset. Unlike the Bentley, which was his first high-stakes gamble, the Lamborghini project was backed by experience, skill, and an established audience. The project quickly became the most-watched series on his channel, with episodes regularly hitting 5 million views. His audience grew exponentially, and the channel crossed 1 million subscribers shortly afterward. Even Richard Hammond, a prominent figure in the automotive world, reached out about a potential collaboration, signaling that Mat's efforts were being recognized by the industry's elite. While the financial gains are substantial, each rebuild sold for significant profit. The exposure and credibility he earned were equally important. This period marked the transformation from a content creator documenting experiments in his parents' garage to a professional entrepreneur commanding attention and respect from both fans and industry veterans. The success of the Lamborghini project also enabled Mat to expand his team and formalize his business. Hannah, who had initially supported him during the Audi TT rebuild, became his full-time operations manager, handling logistics, scheduling, and customer relations. His father, who had witnessed his early struggles firsthand, joined as workshop manager, lending his experience to ensure each project was completed efficiently. This family involvement added both emotional depth and operational stability to the business. It also highlighted another important lesson. Success is not achieved alone. Behind every milestone, there was collaboration, trust, and strategic delegation. The Lamborghini project was not just about building a car. It was about building an enterprise capable of sustaining growth, handling large-scale projects, and maintaining a loyal and engaged audience. Mat's meticulous attention to detail, from custom wraps and upgraded wheels to performance modifications, ensured that each vehicle was not only functional but visually captivating, a combination that drew in new subscribers and kept existing fans engaged. Financially, this period was transformative. By late 2021, Mat's YouTube channel was generating over £20,000 per month, while ad revenue, sponsorship deals, and car sales combined to bring his annual income into six figures. Brand sponsorships became more frequent and lucrative, with offers reaching £5,000 per video and multi-year partnerships worth tens of thousands annually. Yet, despite this rapid growth, Mat remained grounded in his approach. He continued to invest profits back into new projects, always focusing on content quality and audience engagement. He also learned to manage the delicate balance between workload and personal health. Unlike his earlier years of 76-hour work weeks and minimal rest, he began structuring his schedule to include planning, recovery, and strategic reflection. This shift demonstrated not just maturity, but an understanding that long-term success requires sustainability. It was a lesson his father had hoped he would internalize. Talent and risk-taking are crucial, but without balance and foresight, even the most gifted individuals can burn out. The Lamborghini build also cemented Mat's reputation beyond YouTube. Automotive enthusiasts and industry professionals began to recognize him as someone capable of handling high-value, complex projects. Media coverage increased, collaborations were offered, and opportunities emerged that would have been unimaginable just a few years earlier. This exposure further validated rumors that had circulated for years about his skills, determination, and audacity. His father confirms that every detail, from the early 76-hour workweeks to the high-stakes Bentley and Lamborghini investments, is accurate. More importantly, his father emphasizes that while the financial and social success is impressive, it came at a cost. Anxiety, missed family events, late nights, and intense pressure were constant companions, demonstrating that achievement requires sacrifices that are often invisible to the outside world. By sharing both the triumphs and the struggles, Mat Armstrong's story provides a complete picture of success. It is glamorous, exciting, and rewarding, but also demanding, stressful, and deeply personal. This chapter in Mat's journey illustrates a broader truth about entrepreneurship and content creation. Calculated risk, persistence, and the ability to adapt are essential for success. The Lamborghini Murcielago project was not just a car rebuild. It was a turning point that transformed a small, scrappy garage operation into a professional enterprise with a loyal audience, industry recognition, and financial sustainability. It highlighted the importance of skills, strategy, and timing, while also showing that even extraordinary achievements are built on a foundation of consistent hard work, careful planning, and unwavering determination. Mat Armstrong's rise from manual labor and minimal resources to fame and financial independence serves as an inspirational blueprint for others. Ordinary people, when disciplined and strategic, can achieve extraordinary things. Yet, as his father notes,